Hey man, did you go and see that new Wreck-It Ralph movie?
Oh, bro, that was a pretty good movie, if I have to say myself. I especially love the outro song.
I mean,
You know what? It made me think about like all the other Disney movies that were made. You know,
yeah,
how good they
Robin
are.
Hood, Jungle Book. I mean, but out of all of them, probably one of the least favorite of
Frozen.
all of them. Well, Frozen, but more importantly, I look more at Lion King. I mean, hey, it doesn't have the best music. It didn't win any awards.
It was trash.
I mean, sure, it was the fifth film from the Renaissance era, but
It
that was '94.
It was pretty much trash. Let's just face it.
I mean, essentially, but
They might as well just get rid of it. Stop the live action. No one's gonna go watch it. We already know.
they're making a live action.
Yeah, they're making live action.
Why?
That's what I'm saying. That's so stupid.
That would be like if they make the Black Cauldron 2.
Yeah, but good news is they got rid of one of the worst songs ever.
Oh, yeah?
Ever made. Can you guess what it is?
Can you feel the love tonight?
No. Yeah, keep guessing. I'll tell you when you get
Be
right.
prepared.
Close. But sadly, they didn't get rid of that one.
All right, so you're probably talking about the Circle of Life.
I wish. No, it's I Want to Be King.
Ah, I forgot about it. See, that was just so deep down, I completely forgot that
Yeah.
that even existed.
It's that bad of a movie.
Yeah, let's I mean, hey, we're here. Why don't we let's take a deeper look into this film and see why it's so terrible.
Sure.
All right,
do
so
it.
hey everyone, and welcome to the Triple J Studios podcast. I just want to start that out with saying we're joking.
Lion King.
Because I know we're probably gonna get a lot of hate for that, but this is before I start, my name's Jared. Across from me is one of my friends, Anthony. He's helped me with a lot of the different short films that I've made in school. And hey, Anthony, what's your favorite Disney movie?
I don't know. I think it has to do with the Lion King.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I found pretty offensive what I was hearing before this.
Ugh, no, but no. In all sincerity, we both love The Lion King. Since 6th grade, he's been talking about how much he's loved this film, and I decided, hey, come on over and let's just talk about it. So, The Lion King is a 1994 American animated musical film, which was produced by Walt Disney, of course. Mm-hmm. It is the 32nd film ever made and the 5th animated film in what it was known as the Disney Renaissance, which was from 1989 to 99. It was directed by Roger Allens and Rob Minkoff. The music was done by Hans Zimmer, and with a budget of only $45 million, it has a box office. Take a guess, because I know you love The Lion King, but I want you to guess how much it made.
It definitely made, I believe, $1 billion because it was actually known as the #1 animated Disney film for a long time until Frozen took over, sadly.
You are very close, actually. It made $968.5 million,
Dang it.
which is incredible. I was looking at Star Wars for comparison, and it has an $11 million budget. I believe it now has over a $700 million.
Yeah, and it still doesn't beat the Lion King. It's
The Lion
insane.
King, yeah.
I
Which
mean,
is
the new
incredible.
ones do though, but the reason for that is because it's grown over time, and so many people have seen it that they actually were excited for when the new ones were getting released. So it makes sense why.
Yeah, I think it's more of a nostalgia reason of why people want. Like, that was kind of the issue with Beauty and the Beast and all of that type of thing.
Speaking of Beauty and the Beast, how they made a live action one, we already know about the Lion King live action that's going to be happening.
Yes,
with
which of course we'll be having. We'll review that when it comes, because you have. Well, we both have some questionable things. Cough, cough. Beyonce being. and
The problem is I don't have problems with. I don't have a problem with famous people, celebrities going into and taking voices. The problem I have, because I mean, if you look at the original Lion King, they actually have many celebrity voices in which are really good.
Yes.
But the thing is like you look at some of the celebrity voices that are coming into the Lion King live action, and you look at people like who was voicing Scar, right? So you had from the original Scar the original Scar was Jeremy Irons, who had such an amazing and menacing voice, right? And then now
Yes.
I'm actually not 100% sure who the new Scar is. I can't actually say his name. I'm gonna try Chiwetel Ejiofor. No,
wait. All right, there we go. Sorry
I mean-
for the weird cut.
the only problem I have with his name is, I mean, not the problem I have with his name. The only problem I have with him is he doesn't sound nearly as menacing as the original Scar. It sounds not like as threatening. He sounds just like just a normal average person that you
Yeah,
hear.
because I remember I told you that I wasn't listening to any of the different, like I wasn't viewing the trailers because I wanted to go into this film blind. So you made me listen to the voice. We're in for something with that song, which we'll get more into that one. But yeah, you were talking about the cast. This cast, I actually have it, some of it pulled up. And we have Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Matthew Broderick, James Earl Jones, Jeremy Irons, Maria Kelly, Nikita Kalmi. We have plenty of things. One that I didn't know was Whoopi Goldberg and Jim Cummings.
Really?
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw their names. So let's go and go on a safari.
All right, so let's start with the beginning, with the opening song. Just hearing that song, it just brings so much nostalgia whenever I hear it, and it's just a masterpiece when it first opens up.
It's not even that, because needless to say, I have the Wikipedia page up. I'm not afraid to tell everyone that, but it immediately starts with
the birds flying past the sunset.
No, it actually begins with Rafiki.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I think that's just it, is that I think they did their job really well to go, okay, we have the first character we see is Rafiki. He's not my favorite, but I still think that it's very neat that over an actual character we see throughout the entire film, our first thought is the rising sun, which is one of the most, in my opinion, one of the most powerful Disney openings.
And if you think about it, it has to like deal with like, if you think about things, think of like Simba. He's a son that's is going to be able to rise to the top. So the way I like to think about it when I actually realized this is, I was watching it one day and I actually realized when watching the opening how the sun really contrasts with Simba. How eventually the sun's going to rise, because it goes up and down, up and down. Eventually the sun's going to rise, and now it's going to be his time to shine. And that's the way I thought of Simba when I actually first saw that scene.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way. It's more of symbolic. I personally just liked it because it was just very fascinating to see all of these different animals, and it does put you in the world.
And it's very beautiful as well, is what I like about it. The animation is, in my opinion, is still one of the best animations. Still holds up today very, very well.
It does.
And to me, like, because it's all of it was hand drawn, so all of it was made like through hand time and all that. And you look at it and it's really shocking.
And you can see the amount of effort that they put into it, with not only, because you have to think they have to make the animals look as real as possible and appealing to the eye.
By the way, when doing this, when they were actually making the film, they actually had real lions inside the studio, so they could actually see how they would act, and they'd be able to draw them. Yeah, it was insane.
I'm just, bye, honey, I'm going to work. Oh, what's going on? They're bringing in a lion. Oh, well done. I'll change your sandwich. You're not having meat. But yeah. But yeah, the opening is great, and then we have King Mufasa and the Queen. Do you know the Queen's name?
The Queen. I actually always forget the Queen's name, because it's actually someone that it's in the top of my tongue. It's like something with an S.
Yeah. Yes. I'll give it to you.
Shenny or
Sarbi. Sarbi. Which is that? I don't think that's ever.
It's said once through the whole film.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I've only ever heard it once, and it was from Scar. Who said
from the one guy that were like, I don't trust you.
Scar was the one person who called the name out, and like, one thing I will say, The Lion King, you don't really ever know the mother. You see her in like 2-3 scenes, and that's it. You don't really see her anymore. I mean, you see her in the beginning.
That's true. Does the mother die in the film?
In The Lion? Okay, so I'm just gonna bring The Lion Guard, one of the worst TV shows ever made. From what I've seen from The Lion Guard,
that's a Disney Junior, right?
Yes, she's not there. So we can assume she's dead.
I was about to say either she died or she just left.
Yeah, because at the end of the film you still see her, because with Scar and all that, because you see her in the fight. But after, we don't know what happened after. Because if you look at the half movie, you never see her, and if you look at the part 2 movie, you never see her.
Oh yeah, I forgot they made a second.
Yeah, it was a DVD. It was.
No, yeah, I saw that one. Oh, by the way, I should also mention because I just finished reading William Shakespeare's Twelfth Night.
Oh my! It actually works. If you okay, so if I want you to before we talk about this, The Lion King, the way I've seen it, it's like a Shakespearean play. The way The Lion King is, it's like a Shakespearean play.
It was based off of Hamlet.
Yes, it was.
Yes, which is why I wanted to bring that up. And I wasn't bragging, going like, "Well, I've read Shakespeare," but more in the sense of.
Don't worry, we have the same class. I did it too.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, so we get introduced to baby Simba, who in Swahili means lion. The name that would be like, oh, hello, Homo sapien.
Oh, speaking of Swahili, they actually went in Africa before making this trip. So like things like Hakuna Matata was actually made. They've heard it from Africa and all that. And that's where they brought the language from there, and they brought it to the film. And you can see how much they actually like took notes and cared about it, because again, they went to Africa and they actually saw everything and how it was, and looking at the animation from that, and from what I've heard from people, it's actually like really beautiful, and the way it was anticipated in that Lion King is pretty accurate to the way Africa should be looking.
Which I love when films are able to make not like a direct representation, because I mean there's no talking lions, but more in the sense of like just for comparison, when The Godfather came out, a lot of Italian Americans believed that they were essentially praising the mafia in a sense, so that created some backlash. But from going off of what you said, it seems like The Lion King was essentially loved by everyone.
I would like to say it's loved by everyone, but if you actually look at what it was made, it was actually struggling to be made. Where you have people who were actually making the film who went away because they were struggling to make the film, that they actually went to Pocahontas.
Right.
To go make Pocahontas.
This was considered the second movie, or the B movie in production. So, and I mean, now they're probably walking around like, we made The Lion King.
Think about it, bro. It's like people don't believe in you, and you have people who are trying to quit because they don't believe that this project's gonna work, and you have people who are not giving up, and next thing you know, they make one of the biggest movies ever made.
Yeah, which I think like Pocahontas probably isn't. You think Disney, you probably think Lion King, Frozen, things like that.
The way I think, you think of princesses, because Pocahontas, let's face it, she was a princess. She's known as being a princess. I don't ever really... Pocahontas is probably one of the least princesses I ever remember. Usually when I think of princesses, I think of Cinderella, Belle, I even think Mulan before I think Pocahontas.
Yeah, which I guess that's still a debate for everyone, is like, is Mulan a princess or not? Which is something...
I mean, she's transitioned to be a princess, so I take her as a princess.
Have you seen the second one?
No, I have not.
Okay, so I sat through that painful experience, and it's essentially...
I heard, though, it's about... Isn't it like she becomes a warrior or something?
She is, like, steps from becoming a princess, and then she's like, I gotta go save someone in, like, the heroic feat, and isn't inducted ever. So, I don't know if they decided that, but, anyway, Mulan, all of that. Lion King. So we get presented to Simba, and all the lions are there, and all the elephants and the birds, they all came. We keep going, and then fast forward a little bit, and now this is the part where Mufasa's teaching Simba about the circle of life, and going like, look at the stars, and all that, and that is the song that plays in the background. Even though it's not one of the, like, you buy the disc for that song, I still love that song because of how slow and like impactful it is.
Yeah, it's very so because it's supposed to symbolize, the kingdom that they have, how grand, how big it is in the circle of life, and how time goes by. Right. Eventually, things die, and eventually it turns out the antelope, the lion dies, so we eat the antelope, we die, and then all of a sudden the antelope eat the grass, like the circle of life.
Yeah.
It's just the way it rotates. So, I mean, the way I look at it is kind of unfair, because if you think about it, I think more antelope gets eaten than lions.
But which is something I was going to say, was that they're essentially the leaders of the Pride Land, so they have nothing to worry about.
I mean, I guess
except for other lines.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Because if you look in actual packs, the only thing you have to worry about usually is other lines, like because they can take over your whole pack.
Other lines
like,
such as Scar.
Yeah,
who were introduced to next.
If you look, I've actually saw a documentary about lines where you look into Africa, and they have line versus a line to see who can take over a whole pack. So usually you do that, but of course Lion knew he can't. Of course, Scar knew he couldn't beat Mufasa in the type of fight, so he had to make a whole strategy of how to beat him. He came up with his own strategy of being able to beat him. So one thing I will say, Scar was very smart. He wasn't dumb at all. He was very smart. But the problem with Scar is he didn't anticipate Simba.
Yeah, he didn't. Well,
but
no one suspects the kid.
We'll go into that later.
We'll get into that later because Scar. Oh man. Mm-hmm. I also did look up while you were talking because you talked about how you saw a documentary on it. Was it African Cats?
I think so.
Okay, because I was thinking. I didn't know if Disney Nature made just a Disney Nature Lions film because it just came out with penguins.
Oh yeah, and did they make like a what is it, like a monkey one before?
Yeah, they apes.
I think so.
Something like that. Happy 10-year anniversary, by the way.
Woo!
For yay Disney Nature. I think I've seen like one, and it was because we got like a free. It was at a downtown Disney or Disney Springs. And they gave you a little they went here. We'll give you food if you watch this film. It's like deal.
All right, so
I'm not going to complain. So then we're introduced to Scar and how he wants to become king, and this is like the evil monologue essentially of who he is, which they really make you know that he's the evil guy. Name is Scar.
Yeah,
he's in the shadows.
I mean, you could also think, but also the voice, how menacing it sounds. And you really look at him and you think for one second you think you know what he's thinking, the other second you don't really know. That the way his voice, the way it sounds, the way it is, like you just see him threatening a mouse. It's like one day, I can't be king, and you'll never see the light of day because he says life is unfair.
And then I know we're gonna skip like half the movie, but at the very end, when you see him finally like in power, he does not care.
Yeah, and he becomes lazy. If you look at it, he becomes really lazy.
Yeah, but again, we gotta hold back. There's a lot to hold on to. So Simba and Nala, who they're best friends, I guess you can consider, they decide to go to the elephant graveyard.
Oh yeah, because we forgot to mention that Scar mentions Simba not to go to the elephant graveyard.
Guess what they do? They go to the elephant graveyard.
Scar, the way Scar is, he plays very smart. Where he says, because as a child you want to do the opposite of what your parents say sometimes, right? We're like, oh, you shouldn't go there, but you want to go there to make yourself look strong and all that. So he plays Simba into that, where he's like, oh, but promise me you'll never go over there and all that, just to play him, because to make him want to go there, because again, that's his plan. It's his master plan.
Yeah,
it's smart. So if you look at it, you can already see how smart Scar truly is just from the very beginning, the way he's playing Simba.
Scar knows very well of how to manipulate people in the sense of as soon as he understands the type of language you use and your thought process, he knows exactly how to get through you.
Yes.
Which, sadly, there's people out there who do that, but either way, this shows just how powerful Scar is.
Yes.
And we're back on Scar.
All right, continue on.
So we're back on Scar. So they're at the elephant graveyard, and then there's the 3 hyenas. What are their names?
Shoot. I remembered. I used to know their names, and I forgot. It's been a little bit.
Shenzi, Banzi, and Ed.
Ed is the one I always remember. That's actually the one I should have remembered the most.
Ed's the one that doesn't talk, right?
Yeah, Ed is the one that...
Yeah. He was interesting. I didn't like him. I like Shenzi the best.
Oh, really? You didn't like Ed? Ed is the funny one. Ed was the comedy relief.
Ed was the funny one, but I liked how Shenzi was just essentially trash talking.
Yes. I mean, if you think about Shenzi, he's the smartest one out of all of them.
Plus Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah. Whoopi Goldberg as well. That made, and the voices for the hyenas, I really like the voices, and the way the laugh was really menacing.
Yes,
it's perfect. It's exactly the way you'd think of a villain or a minion they would do like a minion laugh.
Yeah, it's like not complete. It's not over menacing of Scar, but it's still one of those like we could be friends, but like on weekends. Like I don't want to hang out. And then so later we get Mufasa's like, hey, we're at Mufasa finds them at the elephant graveyard, rescues the cubs, and then Simba's like, sorry, I didn't mean to.
And his dad is mad.
Well, this is the scene where they're at the night sky, and essentially, which I found very more, not like on the same level of sad in his death, was that he's essentially saying, I'm going to die, but I'm going to be up there with the stars, and I'll be watching over you.
A.K.A. foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing, which probably at the time everyone's like, oh, he's never going to die. Yeah, wait 20 minutes.
Yeah, so I really felt in love with that scene because you actually looked, like, if you look at the paw, when Simba steps, you see how much of a role he has to fill. He looks at that, and that's how much of expectations he has on himself. Because you realize, like, he's thinking, oh, it's going to be easy, all this, when he's king. And then he realizes just how much harder it is to be king just by looking at his father's step, how much bigger it is and how much smaller he truly is compared to what his father is and how much weaker he really is than his father.
Yeah, which, you just reminded me, oh man, so did the Disney live-action version of this film. We completely skipped over our second major song. For everyone hearing the rain and thunder in the background, sorry, it's raining and thundering. View it as just relaxing because I personally like the rain. But either way, we completely forgot that song.
Okay, so let's go back to that backtrack. So we see him, with the hyenas, and at this point we kind of figured because he tells them about the plan how he's supposed to kill the cubs, and it never happened. He's like, oh, whatever, right? So he throws the meat and all that, and you kind of realize again, you see how much of a manipulator he is. He's able to manipulate hyenas to do whatever he wants because he knows exactly what they're thinking, the way their process is. They just want food. They're greedy, and he takes that greed for himself. Where he's like, "I'll promise you, I'll give you this if you work for me. If you do what I want." And you look at it, and you can definitely see how much more menacing Scar truly is and how much more of a threat he really is. Because later you also find out his plan, which then after thinking of the plan, he then comes up, after he says plan, that's when, he's like, no king, and they're questioning who the king is, but he's going to say he's the king because they're going to kill Mufasa. Right? And then that's when the song plays. Yeah. That's when Be Prepared plays. I'm just going to say one of the best villain songs ever made.
Right.
So good.
Which is, it is very good. Not yet, though, because we're not there.
I know we are there.
Oh, we are there?
We're at Be Prepared. Remember, after the hyena attack, they have the song Be Prepared. We completely forgot to talk about it. We backtracked so much for it.
Okay, so we're gonna have a mental breather.
Yeah.
Okay, so they go to the elephant graveyard. They come back.
Before the elephant graveyard.
There's
a song that we missed before the elephant graveyard.
Before the elephant graveyard. They have... I
Want to Be King.
I can't wait to be king. And then after that, they go to the graveyard, right? Because that's where it ends.
Yeah, but we should probably talk about I Want to Be King because it's not going to be in the new one.
We'll talk about that because that song is interesting in the sense that it's very well done. Like in Disney, they have a ride of called Disney's Filler Magic, which is essentially Donald's going through all of the different Disney worlds.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and they have one of the songs, because I went on it recently. They had The Lion King, and it was that song. And then I think it was the very next day you told me that song wasn't going to be in. So that made me think of the ride and all of that type of stuff.
Yeah. So let's talk about that song real quick. It is, one of my opinion, it's an amazing song. And again, foreshadowing. Just going to say that. But also, looking at that song, you really see like how immature Simba truly is right now, and he's like, if you think about it, what the song truly means, I can't wait for my father to die. If you think about it, in a funny term.
In a sense, yes. But yeah, going to how naive and not slacking, but more in the sense of how he doesn't understand this means. Yeah, he's a kid. Is that one of the lines is Zazu goes, I think it's time that you and I arrange a heart to heart. And then Simba responds with, Kings don't need advice from little hornbills for a star. And it's like, eh. And yeah, Zazu even says this child is getting wildly out of wing.
Which makes you see that...
No pun intended.
I mean, also makes you see that, I feel like it shows how much... Because you feel like Zazu had been there for like at least... Because you're thinking... The way I think of Zazu is his father must have been the advisor. That's why he became an advisor.
Yeah.
And he probably, as a child, becomes someone else's advisor. But then again, he's still alive when Simba's an adult. So does that...
Yeah, he hasn't aged at all.
He hasn't aged at all. So,
sorry, you said this was Zazu's played by Mr. Bean.
Yes, it actually was played by the original Mr. Bean.
Which I thought, when you told me that right before I hit play.
Yeah, I know. Roman I can't say their names. I'm really bad at
We'll
this.
call him Mr. Bean.
Yeah, but it's played by Mr. Bean, which I really like. Loved his voice. But also...
when he talked in the show.
Speaking of Zazu, he also has his own song in the DVD version. Which you listened to before this.
Which is another thing you told me right beforehand was the morning agenda.
The morning report.
Morning report. Which just kind of sounds like...
So they cut it off from the original version, and to make you buy the newer, like more expensive DVD,
which thank goodness
they put that song in as an extra bonus feature.
And you did buy the DVD,
yes,
and it was not worth it.
I mean, I also got to see the struggles. So basically, that's also one thing that I can say. To my opinion, it was worth it just to see that one part, like the struggle and how hard it really was to make The Lion King. To me, that's what makes it worth it. But yeah, the Morning Report. If you're gonna buy the disc, just go for the original. Do not buy the newer one because the Morning Report is not worth it.
The Morning Report you can just watch on YouTube anyway.
Yes.
Which I encourage everyone to go watch, but at the same point, I don't because it's very interesting. So then we finally get to the scene of Mufasa explaining like, hey, I'm gonna die type of thing, which one day which is okay, so we got past that. Now we are back on track.
Yes, there we go.
Okay, that's good. So now we have
the song.
Yes, now we have Be Prepared.
Yes,
which is where this podcast is going to be long because already we've already talked about how much we love Scar, how much we love the music,
how much we love Mufasa,
how much we love the hyenas, and all of them are in this song.
Before we talk about, actually, no, we'll talk about Mufasa we'll
get there. Spoiler alert. So we get there, and this song, it's how deep his voice is. It's how the music is rising beforehand.
And Jeremy Irons just does it so well.
He did not sing that song.
Oh, he didn't?
He did not.
I forgot about... Oh no, his voice was gone. He couldn't sing the song anymore. I forgot.
There were two things of why he couldn't. It was he couldn't hit the notes. And also that he wasn't feeling well that day.
Yeah, that's what I was like. His voice wasn't there that day.
It was so interesting to read that and go, but it's also in the sense that you can't tell.
Yeah, you can't tell. It sounds so perfect.
Why can't they do that in the live action?
I don't know. I don't know if they're doing the live action. Well, I mean, maybe we'll have to see.
If they get rid of that song, I don't know which would make me more sad: if they get rid of the song or if they sing the song with that actor. Because
I mean, if he has a good voice, I don't know. But nothing about it, because I remember I knew this and I just forgot about it. Thanks for reminding me about this. That the voice change. Yeah, you really like. You cannot tell the difference between how they sing, and it's amazing to like just to hear and think about. They must have had like this must have been on a quick notice. They must have had to find someone that sounded similar, could sing amazing, and sound so menacing as well.
Could you imagine working at Disney on a B movie and they're like, "Hey Steve, yeah, you got a minute? Yeah, what's up? We need you to sing a song." Okay, and then suddenly everyone loves your song.
But if you think about it, no one actually remembers him as. That's the problem. Like, imagine singing that song and you know you did it and no one knows that was.
Have you heard about the Darth Vader?
Yeah, no, Darth Vader. Okay, it's the same thing. There was a guy in a costume. There was a guy that separated his voice, and there was something else. There was a third person for whatever. I forgot what the third person was, but there was one guy in the costume who tried to speak, but his voice sounded terrible.
And then they got a guy to voice him, yes. And then they didn't.
They never said anything about him. No one knows about him at all.
No one knows about him, and they didn't invite him to the premiere.
Yeah, I know. He was pissed. He was really pissed about it. He actually, I think, didn't he he threatened to sue?
He threatened, yeah, which was incredible because in the fourth film, I had a friend of mine, because I went, he's not in the fourth one long. He's in it for 12 minutes, and he was going to sue. I understand, but either way, which for any of you who are thinking we're going off topic with Star Wars, we're not. Disney still, so
it's all Disney.
It's all Disney. I mean, eventually Disney, we're gonna get the rights to everything. Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network are next. So we get to the song. What would you say is your favorite line or action that happens?
My favorite action, honestly, was if you think about it, the Nazi symbolism that's in it. Because you have that march, and that there shows just how much of a threat Scar truly is and how much of a menace he's going to be in the future of the film.
Yeah, because it's not only, and I didn't see it as a Nazi symbolism, but you kind of point that out. Not necessarily that is how I viewed it. I viewed it as more of he has authority over all of these people who, in reverse, like one of the lines that they say, the hyenas, they'll go, "It's great that we'll soon be connected to a king who be all time adored," and at the very end, that the hyenas.
We'll mention that later. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, something happens. Yes. And it's completely reversed of how the song is.
Because the thing is the way the reason I mentioned it as a Nazism, because I mean it's not Nazism if you look at it. Like you have people in North Korea, you have the North Korean marches and all that look exactly the same.
Well, I mean, but every country has that.
It's the way I've seen it is the way I've seen it is he's seen as a dictator.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, dictators, the way they pick dictators and the way again, look at North Korea, you have Kim Jong-un, a dictator, and the way that his army marches, it looks exactly the way the hyenas are march. So if you think about it, he's a dictator. Yeah. He's shown to be a dictator.
Which they have the shadows and not what that's a symbolic thing that I like. They didn't show the hyenas marching, but they emphasized the shadows.
Oh, I know.
Which was incredible.
Insane.
I don't know how you depicted it, but I recently rewatched that scene after I watched the film again.
Really?
And yeah, because I noticed that what I liked about it was it's essentially saying, in my eyes, that Scar doesn't view the hyenas. He views what they can do for him.
No, pretty much. That's what. No, because the way I took it was, he looks at himself as he's above, and he looks at everyone else like they're below him.
He's literally looking down on them in this scene, laying down and just going, of course, keep care you're expected to take certain duties on board.
And if you look, and if you see where they're going up, you see the hyenas going up with him, but at the same time, you always see him at the top.
Yes.
You never see the hyenas go match with him or equal with him. He's always at the top.
The final shot of that song is I don't know how he got down, but he is in the sky on this giant pillar, and no matter what are the hyenas above him. Even the ones that are close to the camera, they don't go above him.
They don't. And if you think about it, what's crazy is he has so much power that lava legit just spews up and lifts him all the way up. That's how strong he is.
Yeah, he can control Mother Nature, but only in that section.
And let's speak of like the images and the animation style for that song. So good. He legit looked like a threat.
Earlier, you talked about how all of it was hand drawn.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that, the fog, the lava, the characters, all of that was handmade, which is incredible.
Yeah, and again, and I'm looking now at the CGI version.
I was actually going to relate it to Frozen, and it's ice.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Was the ice actually drawn?
No, the ice was not drawn.
I thought it
but
was.
more in the sense of just comparing it to how Elsa is able to use her ice powers and how quote unquote realistic that would look, type of thing, and then to compare it to The Lion King and how all of that was hand drawn is incredible.
Definitely. And let me just say, like, now you have The Lion King live action, which I look at the scenes, like, I know you haven't seen the scenes because like what I've seen, but I'm just gonna tell you the scenes do not look nearly as lively as they do with the animation. But I mean, that to me makes sense because they're trying to go for realism, and in the real world nothing's as colorful as it would be in animation. But that to me loses a sense of like wonder, of a connection, of like
you connect with the characters because you like how they look.
Yes, and no, not just that, but I also connect because like you look at this animation, it keeps you contracted, like it keeps you to want to watch because the animation is so beautiful and all of this, and you care, like you just see it and you realize how amazing. Comparing that to the live action, it's like you look at
it's like it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's just not gonna. You're not expecting it to be as good as a Lion King.
Yeah,
I'm already expecting it to be worse.
I've seen pictures of it, and have you seen the Christopher Robin movie?
Yes, I have actually seen it.
Okay, do you remember how all the characters looked like a stuffed animal, like on purpose? That's essentially what they kind of look like in my eyes. They don't look like lions; they look stuffed. Not taxidermy, but either way, that
Scar
song
kind of looks more like what is it? What is it?
They're
like sticks. Oh, yo, don't worry.
Sorry.
I won't spoil it.
Okay.
All right, so keep going.
We'll
go
later.
to the next song.
Yeah, but well, not the next song.
Next scene.
Next scene, which is the herd of wildebeest, which I'm gonna say right now, Pixar gave this idea to Disney. Disney completely stole this from The Good Dinosaur. Have you seen that film?
Yes, I've seen The Good Dinosaur.
With Arlo's father getting hit by water. Pixar did it first. No.
I was about to say, wait. For a second, you were actually getting me. I was like, The Good Dinosaur came out in like 2016?
No, you know me. I'm the Disney fan.
Yeah.
But, no, I rewatched that again. I rewatched the movie. I don't know why I'm saying scenes, but it was that was a very crucial moment in Disney history.
Oh, it was.
Is what I would say. Is that for once you're not, because before this, Disney parents died like off screen.
You never know what happened to them.
And they're still kind of sometimes killed off screen. They're either killed off screen or they're killed.
Just look at Frozen, for example. Like, you have you never actually see them die.
Frozen,
you just
Big
assume.
Hero 6, the brother died.
Also, actually, one thing I actually want to mention of Frozen, there's actually a theory that the parents from Frozen were actually Tarzan parents, and actually one of the people who made it were saying that could be correct.
Yeah, which I thought was Frozen 2. We're going to have to...
Yeah, but let's go back.
to that. Or Tarzan 3. Who knows? Maybe they'll come back and start doing a hand-drawn. But either way, yes, this was... It wasn't only important because of you saw the parent die on screen, but also because it was the villain on purpose killed him.
Yeah.
And essentially, one of the most famous lines in the film, "Long live the king." And then throws him off.
Yeah, and again, that's a foreshadowing. If it's the Long live the king. It's a foreshadowing. Think about it. So,
This is more.
It's one of the when I first saw it as a kid, I actually was like, no, no. I was legit. That was my first like, no, 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 no moment. It's like, no, this has to be a lie. Because legit, when I was a kid, I was young. I was like, save him, don't let him fall, save him. And then he just does like, no.
Forget that. I'm still a kid at heart, so I still watch that film, that scene. I'm like, you're gonna save him. Oh wait.
No. Again, you have to again Scar manipulation. He actually manipulated Mufasa to be able to do it.
Yeah,
because he knows he cares about his son and all that.
And his older brother.
I know his older brother. And again, he did this for one reason, because he knew he couldn't beat him in strength. So instead, he's gonna beat him with brain. Because let's face it, Mufasa, strong as he is, was not smart. He was smart, but he wasn't like nearly on the level of intellect as you would have Scar. He's a brave warrior and all of this, brave at heart and all that, but he's not as smart as Scar.
Now, the part that got me in this scene wasn't. It was that was when like the waterworks start. But what really got me was that. Because again, you don't see his face after.
Technically, you don't know he died. What got me was when Simba slept with his dead corpse.
The line that always gets me is "wake up," which is like no, Disney.
When I actually rewatched it, I actually sent you a picture of me.
You sent me a picture, yeah.
When I was rewatching it, I was like, oh my gosh. I'm looking at my brother, he's just staring like so confused because he's young right now and doesn't know what's going on. I was feeling like, oh my god, if he knew what was going on right now, it would be bad.
Yeah, which is,
It was legit. It was a sad moment to me. I was staring like, I was legit looking. I was like,
sad.
I know. Even when I'm rewatching, I'm like, man, just the thing that. It's crazy because this actually kind of teaches you, it's kind of like a life lesson. Eventually, things will go away. Things are going to disappear.
Which is why this film is very important to, personally to me, just more in the sense of, things are starting to change. More in the sense of, I don't want to get too into it, but more in the sense of, you and me, we're in 11th grade as of now. Summer is right over there, and soon we'll be old seniors, and then one more year and then college. So that's why this film has really been striking home personally with me, is that like you, me, and our friends, we're all going through a lot of different, possibly life-changing, in the sense that it's things will change, things will go on, but we need to go past this, which is essentially the moral of the film. So and then Scar comes back. The entire movie theater at this point is going, get out! Leave! And he convinces that it was Simba's own fault and to run away. Incredible!
Because he's a child. He doesn't understand what's really going on in this set. He understands his father is dead, but he blames himself for this. He's putting the guilt all on Simba. And that's a smart move again for Scar. And you think about it, you have to feel bad for him. Simba believes it's his fault that his father died, and he's blaming his whole life on this.
Yeah, which right after that, we just Simba just runs, and Scar goes, "Run, Simba, never come back." He starts running. We get a shot of just Mufasa and the three. Hyenas. I'm never gonna remember the word hyenas. I keep wanting to say pack dogs. So we get them, and then he just goes kill him, and they run after him. He eventually gets out of there, and then somehow he collapses in the desert. And now this is when we're introduced to Timon and Pumbaa,
and one of the best songs to come out.
Oh. In 2 minutes already, we are already attached to these characters.
Yeah, and you can already tell. Once you hear the song, you can already it's so weird because from here the movie goes on really quick. If you think about it, legit, this whole next part is really quick. It's not slow. It moves on.
Because I know you haven't been watching the timer, but we are getting close to 45 minutes.
Oh my god! And we're only we're halfway through, I think. just about.
Yeah, but you are right in the sense that right after this, because I promise we're still gonna reach the hour mark. It goes quick in a sense. So we're introduced to Timon and Pumbaa, and then this is when they talk about Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata
Means
what
what
a
a wonderful
phrase.
phrase. Sorry, which in Swahili it actually does mean no worries.
Yes.
So, which they tell you in the song, it means no worries.
Again, this all came from Africa, where they went to travel.
Yep.
And looking at this song, man, it's crazy because this, it helps Simba get over all like his fears, like all this, and
Kind of,
but you know what I mean,
right?
But you know what I mean, like. You look at this song and you see him go from small to big, and you're already getting attached to these characters without, for knowing them for such a short time, you're already getting attached to these guys. It's so weird.
It's also weird to go from 15 minutes ago, the dad died. In their eyes, though, it's been years.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, if you think about, and it's weird, I feel like it's so weird, though, because Simba, you gotta wonder, how is it from switching to meat to eating bugs?
Which... yeah, I guess if there's a lot of bugs, he could do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
You know what I really like about Hakuna Matata? It really shows how beautiful the island that they're on, or wherever it is.
Gorgeous.
It's
which is why I personally love Lion King 1.5, is because you explore more of that forest.
a lot of people disagree with you in that opinion.
Yes, and they can come to my house and we will sit down and we will watch Lion King 1.5, and I will praise it.
I'm a big fan of Lion King, so whatever extras I can see, I actually enjoyed it, because a lot of people they don't like the Lion King 2. I enjoyed it.
I've seen it once. It's okay.
Yeah, it's just okay.
It's okay. It's not one of those like oh man, this is terrible type of film, and I would relate it to another Disney film. But I don't want to because then people will kill me. But which at the very beginning, I don't know if you caught, but I made a joke about the Black Cauldron. People refuse to accept that that's a Disney film.
It is a Disney film.
It is a Disney film. You have to deal with it. Yes. It has the Horned King, or the
actually has a really good villain though.
His villain's really good. I liked him, but no, I was talking to a friend of mine at school, and they went like, "What is your most favorite Disney film that people don't know about?" And I went, "The Black Cauldron," because no one knows about it. And he went, "Oh, what's it on? Is it at the library? It's on Hulu." Disney wants you to know it's a film you can watch.
Yes. It's just it's a film that's just. It's actually didn't it come out? That started Dark Ages, didn't? Or no, it's a film that came out. Oh yeah, I remember now. The Dark Cauldron came out right when the Lion King came out, so it just got foreshadowed.
Yes,
foreshadowed by that film.
Yeah, well, I think Disney was even like, we should probably fix it.
But let's go back to Lion King.
Yes. So now, as you said, he's growing up. He's becoming older, and then Nala shows up.
After again, after this comedic scene of him, trying to eat Pumbaa.
Yeah.
Well, before we get to that, I actually want to go back into. You actually have to realize something. You go into what is it? You go into the song, and you actually know you get Pumbaa's backstory, but you never get Timon's backstory. You never get Timon's backstory.
Do you know where you get Timon's backstory?
1.5.
1.5.
Yeah, no, but yeah, it's so weird to think about it, because I actually remember I was so surprised.
Which his backstory is that he farts.
Because no one would be a friend because he smells really bad.
Yeah, I guess. Sure.
But yeah, you get you get his backstory, and then you don't ever get Timon's backstory. It's so weird.
You don't.
You never,
except for
So just telling you should probably watch Lion King 1.5.
Son, come over, bring some popcorn. Sure. But yeah, you are right. That song is a very...
And it's so weird because that song somehow gets you to get attached to these characters without knowing what they're really about.
I think you get attached to the characters for two reasons. One, the actors of who plays them, because they were well known before this. And then also just of how all the other characters, excluding Simba, are very serious. They're very story driven. But then Timon and Pumbaa come out, and
they
they're
just stop the story.
They're just having fun. they're wacky, they're
Funny.
and it's great because these are the characters that are like, I want to see this.
You know, one thing I actually like for 1.5 that I kind of wish was in this movie. What is it? They have a little bit of it. Timon and Pumbaa do sing a little bit of it, but they never like sing the full thing.
Of what song?
Think about it. The lines sleep. I forgot.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lions.
And they have that 1.5.
Yes.
They actually, if you remember, they sing a little bit of that song before Pumbaa gets chased by Nala. And actually, one thing I was like, man, I kind of wish that song was in the original film because I actually really love that song.
Yeah, that song is. I mean, I like it. It's not one of those like, hey, put it on the radio. What do you want to listen to? But it is a very good song, which I wanted to talk about.
Oh, really?
Because
good thing I brought it up.
Yeah, I told you about that right before we started. There was controversy over this song because of its use, which was essentially I can't find it right now, but it was a song in 1939. And they didn't quite have the rights to it. Yes, here it is. The use. I'm reading directly from the Wikipedia page. The use of the song "The Lion Sleeps Tonight" in a scene with Timon and Pumbaa led to disputes with Disney and the family of South African Solomon Linda, who composed the song, originally titled "Mumba," in 1939. In July 2004, Linda's family filed suit seeking $1.6 million in royalties from Disney. And then it goes on to say in 2006, Linda's heirs reached a legal settlement with Abilene Music, who held the worldwide rights and had licensed the song to Disney for an unclosed amount of money.
But I'm just going to say this. It was like, how many seconds? Was it that song in the film? Like 5?
I mean, yeah.
To be fair.
And I understand that because there's... but that's like copyright and Article 13 stuff I don't know enough about. But I guess it's like as long as the original work is changed enough that it's unrecognizable, then go for it. But
I mean,
they were humming it.
Yeah, they were humming a single little bit of it. But so again, we gotta go back. So Pumbaa gets chased by Nala, and you actually see you see Nala and Simba fight. And Simba technically loses.
Yes.
Simba technically loses that fight.
Yes, Simba's pinned. So we get all of that, and then
wait. Another question I have: How did he recognize Nala?
I guess it's kind of like if you haven't seen a friend for a while, you would still get like
an image of what they might look like.
An image of like, oh yeah, like, oh that's you, type of thing. Like, yeah. I think we're just supposed to kind of accept it. But what I do like is that there's a because it's all hand drawn. There's a scene where as soon as Simba goes Nala, Nala just goes whoa and completely shakes her.
It's surprising. She thought he was dead. Oh, also, I'm just gonna back. There's gonna be a new song sang by Beyonce.
Nala.
We're thinking that it's gonna have to do with Simba running away. That's what we're thinking. Man,
if Beyonce just starts singing one of her songs, or but yeah, so that all happens, and then this is the part where it gets odd, in a sense. First, isn't this the part of the song with "Can You Feel the Love Tonight"?
Yeah. So you have the beginning where. Okay, I'm gonna just tell you this now. I actually told him before this whole thing started because again, I'm a big fan of The Lion King.
Oh, are you
best,
now?
Best Disney film alive. No one can argue that. Trust me. You have a scene where they're singing, where you have Timon and Pumbaa, where at the very beginning where they're singing a little bit of the song. They were actually supposed to sing the rest of it. They were supposed to sing their own version that was actually made, but it sounded so bad that they actually had to take it back and redo everything.
Elton John even said he didn't like it. But no, some of the lines that they did lead to leave was because you showed me it. The sweet caress of twilight is magic everywhere. And with all this romantic atmosphere, disasters in the air. Oh, we completely peaked.
It's okay.
It's fine. Sorry,
Okay.
listeners.
But yeah, they kept that part, and they
kept the opening and then
disasters in the air.
and the very end.
Oh yeah.
And if he falls in love tonight, it can be assumed his carefree days with us are history. In short, our pal is doomed.
Yeah.
Which I thought was like the most. The rest of the song is about kings and vagabonds and everyone being happy because nature is finally. Which I am in love with this love song because it's incredible of just how other Disney films. Okay, I'm speaking personally. Other Disney films, when they have a love song. Like Frozen, for instance, when they were singing Love is an Open Door, it seems so forced. It seems very, like, they're in love, look at them, type of thing.
But this is like...
But this one is just, not only are you thinking they're in love, but also it's more of, you can sing it anywhere.
And it's calm. What makes it think me, makes me think
so
of this more.
calm.
It's so calm.
I've listened to that
it's
song.
It's not forced. It doesn't
stressed.
feel like it's forced because it's nice and calm. It's the way it's singing, the way the rhythm is. It's such a beautiful song. The way, and again, you get to see more of the world as well when they're running through, and you actually feel like they're having fun because again, they haven't seen each other in forever. She thought he was dead.
Yeah,
and he thought he was never going to see her again.
And I've listened to the song plenty when I was stressed, just because of how. The violins and the nature noises in the back, everything is just so calming. So yeah, that song's really well done. I will get into more awards later, but that one did win an Oscar, as it should have. Disney live action. Put that song in.
We're hoping.
So after that,
Nala and
all of that
Simba
love.
have a argument,
a chat, if you will, of using very Disney-esque friendly words, such as "well, fine," and then they leave. So then he leaves, and this is where
foreshadowing finally happened. The foreshadowing of the night sky officially occurred.
Kind of, because this is the scene where we get another controversy.
Oh.
It says SFX.
Yes.
It does not say that other thing.
Everyone believes it says that because of the way it looks.
Everyone thinks there's another word there. It isn't. I don't want to talk about it for too long, but either way, it says special effects for help to the special effects department. It doesn't say something else. Now, if they do that in the live action film, I don't think they'll do that in the live action film. But either way.
So, next.
I just want to talk about that. So then, anyway, all of the different particles, they go to Rafiki, who is gone for the rest of the film, except for this part. And he's humming a little song, and then he finds it. And I love this. This is why I love this character. He goes absolutely nuts and is in love. And then finally, he says, "It is time." And it's like now the film is reaching the climax. Now the film is, yes. So Simba rushes over to Rafiki, and then they're like, "Oh, hello." And then... I forget. Oh man, I'll look up the quote real quick. But Rafiki says something, and then do you want to talk about, while I look this up, the scene with him seeing his father again?
Oh my, okay, so this was the foreshadowing, right? After they had the talk, so the whole point of this talk was to make Simba learn from his past. The past was the past. And like how you know how Simba was like, oh, and Simba's like caring about the past, and he's trying to teach us like the past doesn't matter, it's in the past. Yeah, and you have to learn from the past, because you have a point where he takes a stick, hits him in the head, and he tries to do it again, and Simba dodges it. He's like, "There you go. You see, you learn."
Which I absolutely loved, and the quote was that was the quote I was just talking
But
about.
that was actually like that's after what happened. So he says, "I have seen your father, and I have seen your father." So then he goes and he goes through. And he's starting to run because Simba's like has all
Like,
the
my
hope in
dad,
the world.
yeah, type
Oh my,
of
he
thing,
can't
yeah.
believe it. All this, and he shows him a bottle of water,
Yeah.
and he's
like, this isn't anything. And then he looks up, and his father's in the clouds.
because
Which, I don't know if you caught this foreshadowing. The poster
yes,
has him
in the clouds.
in the clouds.
It's actually not in the clouds, in the sky.
in the sky.
Yes.
But which is 1 hour mark, which I thought was incredible. Of just, you don't have just like another Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker thing. Was you had Obi-Wan when he died come back, and he went and he was talking about how like, oh yeah, use the Force, Luke. I liked that the first time, but now seeing it a lot of times, I don't like it. The Lion King nails it because it's one of those, he doesn't say much. The face is still not formed. And then when Simba goes to leave, so does his father. He just dissipates into the clouds.
And also before that, Rafiki is showing him that his father's been in him the whole time. He's been with him the whole time. And you look at this and you realize something like, oh, like this whole time Simba has grown up. Like,
people leave you, but they don't.
Yeah, they don't. They truly don't.
They stay in your
They
heart.
live you to what they've done in their life, what you remember them for.
Yeah.
And Simba remembers them, as a fierce warrior in this, and he sees his father, and he realizes what he must do. That it's now time for him to take back what he lost.
And I know I'm going to sound like a motivational poster or like a Kingdom Hearts game, but truly, people leave you, they stay in your heart.
Yes.
Which I think is incredible. And the quote that Rafiki says after this, "Oh yes, the past can hurt, but the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it."
Yeah, and that's where
when he hits him.
that's when he the pass can hurt and then he pass, and that's when he tries to hit him and he dodges.
And he goes, "See, told you." So then, I believe it's Rafiki that tells him about. No, he doesn't know the state of the Pride Lands, and neither do we.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
No, Nala told him the state of the Pride Lands.
Nala told
before
him.
that.
Yeah. So Simba starts to run, and
then Nala, looking for Simba, goes to Timon and Pumbaa.
And then they say, "Go."
No, Timon and Pumbaa are like, they have no idea where he is. And then Rafiki comes and is like, he has returned. The king has returned.
Yeah.
It's like, and she's so surprised, and they starts taking
they
off.
run.
And then again, Timon and Pumbaa, you don't know what happened to them for a little bit.
But hey, Anthony.
Yeah.
Do you know where you can figure out what happened to Timon and Pumbaa?
Oh, I don't know. Lion King
Lion
one
King
and a half.
Oh my god. Crazy.
It's like it was made to take away to make away plot holes.
What? Incredible. So, again, Simba starts running, and this is the slow motion of him running across the desert.
And it's some.
It's hand drawn.
I love that scene. That scene just shows like, because you actually see him run full speed below, but you can see it like slow motion at the very top because it shows the fade of slow motion.
And the music is like, he is going back.
Yeah, and you think about it. When I was listening to music, I realized he got his confidence back. His confidence is back.
You see him as no longer the, like, as we were saying, immature kid. He is now a lion.
And it's shown how much he's grown.
Yes.
And
he's set to go. And then he gets there, and
he sees what
Dash.
Scar has done.
So
there's
trees
bones.
are dead.
There's actual bones.
There's actual bones. The Elephant Graveyard got an expansion, essentially.
And no, that also shows. You think about it.
Sorry.
Where again, that one small place was technically like Scar's kingdom.
Yes, and you can see the difference.
And you can see the difference between where Scar, again, he's greedy. He just cares for food, doesn't care for anybody.
The land and sky are literally gray.
Yeah.
It's a gray world.
It's basically all became an elephant graveyard.
Yeah. And then we also see Zazu again, who is now in the rib cage of an animal.
Yeah.
And this is My personal favorite joke
I know.
is when he says, "Sing something."
It's a small world after all.
He goes, "No, anything but that." And
It's like-
that one's just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those. Everything else is death and destruction, but Zazu still is annoying. So then, Simba, Nala, Timon, and Pumbaa, who have shown up, are all there, and then they go, "All right, we need to devise a plan. What are we going to do to get all of these different, all of the henchmen out of there?" And Timon and Pumbaa go, "We got an idea." And they, wow.
Oh, technically no, because Pumbaa was okay with it, but
Timon
wasn't.
Timon wasn't.
And then he decided, whatever, we'll do it. And then then the Lulak happens is like another song that should have won an Oscar 100%.
I mean, why didn't it?
Probably because it was very short.
Well, I mean, it's short, but at the same time, yeah, that's what I was just.
Yeah, I was like, I should have found it.
Oh yeah, he says right before that, "What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Dress and drag and do the hula?" And then 2 seconds later, he sings, "Luau! If you're hungry for a hunk of fat and juicy meat, eat my Gumby buddy Pumbaa here, 'cause he is a treat.
Yep.
$100 dine and tasty swine.
Yep.
All you gotta do is get in line. Are you aching for some bacon?
Yep.
Here is a big pig. You can be a big pig too." And then that doesn't work.
It works. It distracts them.
It did its job.
That was what it was supposed to do.
So then, but they run. They take him on. That's a weird song. I've never really read the lyrics before.
Yeah.
So they do all that.
That's funny.
And then they get to the top, and then this is where not their final confrontation,
And then
but
you get
they're
a
finally just talking to Scar.
No, just before this, you see Scar, and then you see with what is she calls? Who does he call? I always forget the mother's name. Sarabi.
Sarabi.
Yeah, call Sarabi up.
Oh yeah.
Again, this could be seen as I'm surprised no one has sued the Lion King for this. I'm actually really surprised for the masculinity they showed. Apparently, people actually really get pissed about that scene. I don't know.
Really?
Why. Yeah,
I think that's a really good scene.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good scene to show that. But there's people who are like, man, look, this was Disney when it was masculine and all that. I'm like, relax, everybody, please.
Yeah, so, Beyonce is now Nala.
So, yeah, before this, you have Scar Khosrabi when she says they have to move or they're going to die. And then she mentions, Mufasa. She strikes. She strikes him. She strikes her.
There was actually another canceled song, I believe.
Oh, really?
Where, Scar and her were going to have a duet.
Oh.
It was not completed, but they had, like, a little bit of lyrics.
Probably not enough time.
Not enough time, but also... Another line, as powerful as I think that Simba's line of "Dad, wake up," was Sarabi goes, "Is it true?"
Mm-hmm.
Like for just a slight second, she thinks her son has killed, essentially her husband and his own dad. Before
that, we have to also mention Simba after Sarabi gets striked, sees her mother get down. He gets pissed and comes up and says, "Scar." And then that's when everyone sees him and he comes down and at first they believe it's Mufasa, that somehow he lived.
Yeah.
Again, you have to mention that's showing just how much Simba has grown. He's an actual lion now, where he's actually grown into an actual lion. Because before, you could tell it was Simba and all that. Now people are actually mistaking him for Mufasa for bravery and all that. So he comes down, right?
And he's essentially going like, "Yes, you did it.
Yeah.
You killed your father," type of thing.
That's what's happening. And
it is such a powerful monologue.
If you think about it, for a second, all the lions, a lot of people complain, why aren't the lions doing anything? Why aren't they trying to help Simba and all that? Well, they're surprised. They're shocked. This is new information they just learned.
There's multiple things. They're shocked. They're having a confrontation, and Simba is trying his best to defend himself.
Yes.
Essentially, even though Scar has done a terrible job at looks, he's defending himself.
And if you think about it, again, this has to do with lion pride, where again, to take over pride, you have to beat the other lion. And right now, they're giving Simba just a one-on-one, and This is like legit shocking news to them. And again, to me, it's a great adaptation. It's great lines, and the way that again Scar's manipulating perfectly. He's manipulating everything.
He knows
to his advantage.
he knows Simba has grown up, but he knows he hasn't changed.
He knows that his heart he still feels guilty.
Oh yeah, he plays to that.
And then he takes him down. He puts him in the exact same formation, and for a set, like I knew, like for a split second, he's trying to think: is this it? Is he actually about to win? Because he's about to die the same way.
Like let's take whatchamacallit, the Big Hero 6 film with the Doctor. Yeah, it's a plot twist that that he was the bad guy. But at the same point, I knew from the beginning, okay, they're gonna win. They have a robot type of thing. But in this one, in Lion King, you definitely get a sense of Scar could win. He doesn't have to win fully. He just has to win enough that he's still in power.
That's all he cares about.
Which is incredible. So at this point, Simba's completely enraged. He's completely mad, and he pins Scar to the ground and goes like, "Tell the truth."
Yeah,
essentially.
Because again, he has him in the exact same position as father. And imagine that. You're in a place where you basically have two paws here. And imagine, this is not even with legs. This is like with just paws.
Yes, they're now up, and we get another slow motion of them fighting. And they're not fighting like humans.
No, but before this, I want to go with this back to where the scene where he's dangling down with all his might. Like, he's dangling.
Yes.
And he's scared. He's like, you can tell he's lost power. And then when he hears for a fact that he's been innocent the whole time, all this, you can tell he wants to get revenge. He gets all his power back, kicks him. Imagine how much strength you have to pull yourself up with just your paws, two paws there. Imagine how much strength you have to pull yourself up and call, to grab him and drag him down to say he's a murderer.
Yeah, like he did.
Yeah, and then when he finally admits it, all the lines just they step out of it. They get out of this daze that they were at, and now they're really into the fight. They come and join the fight because they figured out now that Scar was the one that killed Mufasa.
They're essentially just, we're going to fight back for our land.
Yeah, and then you have this crazy fight scene where you have them fighting on their high.
The music is just going completely in sync with the feelings that everyone's feeling. There's lightning striking down. It's slow motion again.
And you could, like, the Pride Lands, you can tell, like, it is in a, like, the Pride Lands itself, it wants this, like, is waiting for this fight to happen, because lightning just strikes and fire appears down below.
Mother Nature is kill him.
No, Mother Nature is, like, basically just saying, this fight's going to happen, it's going to be this is going to decide the fate. Yeah. This is the fate decider.
And in other films, like, I'm going back to what's it called? Ralph Breaks the Internet. There were so many. I don't get me wrong. I still like the movie, but there are many false endings of like, oh, is this the end? No, it's gonna go this way, type of thing. This one was, this is the end, type of thing.
This is where it's gonna end.
There's fire. There's heights. There's a fight scene. There's everything that is like, this is it.
And it's such an epic fight you see between Scar and this. And you see him take him down, and for a second you think that he's gonna do that. He does what Scar did to him. He says, "Go, run away, and never return." After one,
if little me was even born in 1994 and was old enough to watch that in theaters, I don't have to be there to assure you, everyone in the theater, as soon as he went, like, get out of the Pride Lands and never come back. Probably everyone in the theater went, oh, you tell him. Like, even me, like, every time I watch that, I'm still in my head, tell him.
Listen, and to me, that's such a powerful thing, because that shows you that Simba has evolved, and he has become a lot stronger. You can tell he's become a lot stronger. He's able to take down, first of all, Scar, who's
shaking. Yeah. He's in fear. He's finally afraid of Simba.
Because, again, it's like Mufasa. It's like Mufasa came back alive. And one second, let's go. I want to go back. When he sees Simba and he thinks of Mufasa, his voice shakes.
Yes.
It shakes.
It shakes, which is just legit fear.
Yeah. And so now when he's fighting Simba, he's like, oh, okay, Simba. Okay, I will do that. And again, he does this. He looks down, sees fire, the fire ash, and hits it up to make Simba blunt, so then he could come back for another attack. Ash again shows you he's not going to give up power easily.
No,
Scar's not going to give up power easily. He doesn't want to lose what he already
he's
has.
like, I'm the powerful one.
Yeah.
Why should I be the one giving up power? So he does that.
And then the fight scene happens.
And then the fight scene, but then Simba manages to.
Before that, he actually talks about the hyenas. Remember, he's like,
Yeah,
it was the hyenas' fault. They made me do it.
Yeah.
It was all their fault.
And then they're like,
No, because the hyenas were actually about to help him. If you actually look at the scene, right above Simba, the hyenas are right there. They're about to jump him. And then Scar says these words. It was the hyenas. It was all their fault. This is why I did that, all that. And they back off.
Yeah,
The hyenas just back off.
Yeah. Do you think they backed off out of fear, or do you think they backed off because they're like, what a jerk?
No, they backed off because Scar was their king, and they realized Scar just played them. Scar just threw them under the bus.
Do you think off camera Ed was still standing there because he didn't understand what was happening?
Oh no, Scar, they were all three of them were there, and they all went back.
Yeah. Oh,
it was all
Ed
three.
too? Okay.
Yeah, all three was there, and they all stepped back. And then they have this fight scene happen, and then of course you see Scar get hit. He gets taken out and falls off a cliff.
Well, it's not only that. Simba launches him off of the cliff, like his father, which I thought was incredible. It's how it reversed, and then
Except
all of the hyenas.
Scar lives this time. Except Scar's alive.
Well, yeah, and then all the hyenas come up, and they're like, "All right," kind of like a West Side Story.
You want to throw us under the bus?
You're on the wrong side of town, type of thing. And then once again, the shadows.
The foreshadowing as well.
Well, the foreshadowing.
Also,
yes.
say, long live the king. Scar didn't live a long. He was not a long-lived king.
He was king, but he's
not a long-lived king.
We don't talk about him, type of king. But yeah, you had the shadows once again. They came back, but this time, and I don't know if you noticed, they're taller than Scar.
Yeah, this time they're actually looking down at him.
They're looking down on him, and they're essentially going, "We have power over you
because you backstabbed us."
Important. Yeah.
And this reason they attack him, and we can all assume technically we never know he died, but we can assume he died because it's every hyena attacked him.
Nah, he would not.
No,
but no, it is assumed he died.
And then you get the end scene. You have where Simba comes up and shows just how much he's grown. Where you hear his roar now. Before it was like rah rah rah. Before, because you have scenes like that. What? Now you hear his deep echo roar, and it reminds you of Mufasa's roar.
Which is this scene once again. It plays the same song that it did with I believe at the very beginning with him and his father looking at the star. It's like no, it's like. Yeah,
I think so.
And it's so beautiful because it's also neat to go that I love that they put this scene in. They have Timon and Pumbaa as he's walking up, and they bow. Mm-hmm. Yes, they're
because he's the new king.
He's the new king, and they see that. It shows that yes, they're silly and they're supposed to be the comic relief, but at times they know. We gotta bow. Yeah. Like, we're not bowing down in fear. We're bowing down because we know he can do this.
And Mother Nature, after the battle is all over, rain happens because they know that
the fire dissipates.
And you think about it, like the fire happens for a short while. The way I also like to think is like that was tyranny that was there for a little bit. It just went away.
It's gone.
Which
is beautiful. And little to no words are spoken after this part.
And then you have the final scene, which then you have. What was it? The daughter in the second Lion King.
Oh,
finally born.
Yeah, which I don't even think she's named in this. She's just
you don't know the name of it. But the same thing happens where you have the daughter coronated. All that the fruit was used. Rafiki's back, and they put her up, and it ends like that. That's it. The movie's over.
Yep.
And it looks at you like it's back. So that just shows the circle of life is happening all over again.
Yeah, which.
Also, you gotta see. You gotta wonder. The lions must have not eaten anything for a while for everything to grow back. Mm-hmm. For everything to grow back, they probably didn't eat anything for a while. I'm just gonna say that now.
Oof. So, and that's it.
Yeah,
That's the entire film. So now we're just going to kind of talk about more of how people actually thought about it. So I just thought I'm reading off of the animation thing when I was talking.
Mm-hmm.
The pitch for the story was a lion cub gets framed for murder by his uncle set to the music of Elton John. And people said, quote, "What? Good luck with that," unquote. But for some reason, the people who ended up on the movie were highly passionate about it and motivated, and that was said by Don Hahn, which was incredible. The people who did the music said they accepted the challenge because, quote, "the story wasn't very good," and writer Bernie Madison saying to co-worker Joe Raft, I don't know who is going to want to watch that one."
Yeah, and that's again the struggle.
And everyone wanted to watch it.
And again, it was something where like people were quitting because they think no one was gonna want to watch this, and they moved to Pocahontas instead. And then next thing you know, Lion King becomes pretty much the best sold animated movie until
it is still today the 35th highest grossing film of all time.
It's still
the
insane.
7th highest growing animated film of all time, and the 3rd highest growing film of Walt Disney World, only behind Frozen and Zootopia. That's incredible.
And to think about it, this held the record from 1994 till 2016, I think. Something like 2016, 2015.
Something around there.
Yes, around that time.
That is incredible. And then you had critical responses. I'm just kind of skimming. It has it still holds a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes and 8.4 out of 10. And I mean, I know they're not going to brag about it, but I'm going to brag about it. In 2016, the film was selected for preservation in... Do you know what the United States National Film Registry is?
Isn't that where anyone can use its works?
No. It's essentially that this film is so important to history, and it has to be either culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. I think it hits on all of it.
It really does. It's all Walt Disney. It's everything has to do with the rise of Walt Disney as well.
And the reason I want to say why The Lion King getting this is so important is because of the year. The Lion King came out in 94.
Not very long ago.
Cinderella came out a while ago when Disney was alive. That got inducted last year.
Oh my! And to think about that. One of the most oldest and most important movies ever made, from Snow White, Cinderella, all of that, they were made before that. And The Lion King, technically, it's not really even that old. From 1994, it already wants to be inside this.
Oh, I mean, The Lion King still holds up today. You have the shows, a live action thing that we've been talking about, which yes, we will be talking about that when it comes out.
Don't worry, when it comes out.
Yeah, I'll drag Anthony back. It still has the Broadway show that's still going on, and people are in love with this film. Tim Rice, I remember when the film was announced, I ran up to you and I didn't say they're making a live action Lion King. I went, they're making a live action Lion King, and Tim Rice is doing the music, and the reason for that is because he did the original music, which is incredible. And I'm just skimming here. The Lion King received 4 Golden Globe Awards and Oscar nominations. The film would go on to win 2 more Golden Globes for Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy, and Best Original Score. Who would have thought? As well as 2 Academy Awards for Best Original Score by Hans Zimmer and Best Original Song with... I want you to take a guess. What do you think won the Best Original Song? I'll give you a hint. It wasn't Can't Wait to Be King, because they don't want it anymore.
Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Yeah.
Thought so.
By Elton John and Tim Rice. The songs Circle of Life and Hakuna Matata were also nominated. Can You Feel the Love Tonight also won the Grammy Award for Best Male Vocal Performance.
Oh my.
Only the man. I thought the girl was good.
Yeah, I actually like the girl's voice, but okay.
Okay, whatever. Grammy Award. They've already done it. The Lion King also won Annie Awards for Best Animated Feature, Best Achievement in Voice Acting for Jeremy Irons, and Best Individual Achievement for Story Combination in the field of animation.
Let's just say the best voice by far was Scar. Jeremy Irons, masterpiece of a performance.
I mean, he won the award, so he had to. And it won so many other awards, I'm not going to read it all.
I'm just going to say this, Mufasa, I feel like a close second could have been Mufasa, but the problem he just wasn't there long enough.
He wasn't in it long enough,
yeah.
So they couldn't have. In June 2008, the American Film Institute listed The Lion King as the 4th best film in the animation genre in its AFI's top 10 list, having previously put Hakuna Matata as 99th on the 100 songs ranking of 100 years. Wow. So, needless to say, this film is still very popular. Many people love it.
Me especially.
Now, there's something that, I know you love this film. So, what we're going to do now is that... Oh, by the way, I don't think we mentioned it once.
What?
So the film takes place in Pride Rock.
Yes.
I don't think we talked about this setting.
Well, I mean, it's half the film takes place in Pride Rock, and then there's like
the other
some
half,
that takes in wherever. I forgot what that land is
We'll
called.
call it the Fantasyland.
There you go. No, isn't it called like they call it like
We'll call it the Oasis.
The Oasis, yeah.
Sure.
There's a little bit that takes place at Oasis, and then guess what? The rest takes place at Pride Rock.
Right. So, but yeah, I already know your answer to this. Not because you told me, but because I'm probably a good guesser. In the previous one, we rated the film out of... the previous podcast we did was Planet of the Apes, and we rated it out of 5 Statue of Liberties. So, out of 5...
Bugs.
Sure. After 5 bugs, how many... bugs would you give this film?
5 beetles that whatever 5 blue beetles that wherever Pimo.
Yeah, see, I told you I'm a good guesser. I knew you were going to give it 5.
I'm just gonna say it's my favorite Disney film. So.
But why would you give it 5?
Because it truly is a masterpiece. I watched it I'm gonna admit it definitely has to do with some nostalgia because I definitely watched it a lot as a kid. It's definitely the movie I watched the most. I actually my parents were shocked because when I was rewatching it, they were there with me, and I actually sung almost all the songs perfectly when I was doing it. So yeah, I love the film. I think, in my opinion, probably the best villain in any Disney film. Love it. I love the animation style. I love the characters, and I'm actually I know I've been smacking down on the live action, and I have been talking good things about it. But I'm actually really excited for it.
Yes.
I really am excited for it. And I'm going to watch it. I'm just hoping that it can live up to the expectations I have for it. Because you already know this is my favorite Disney film, so I have big expectations for this film.
Yeah, and also I'm looking at our time of how long we've been talking. It is, the film's 88 minutes. We've almost been talking for the entirety.
Oh my God.
In 20 seconds we'll hit all of that. But either way, yeah, 5. Now, I am a tough grader. So, in order for a film to get 5 for me, I need to love the songs, I need to love the villain, I need to love just looking at it.
1 second. I also love the songs. Then mention
okay,
that.
Yeah, sure, you can add that in. But I need to love all of that. I need to love the story. The story, I think, is one of the most important aspects of everything. Because I make the different short films.
Yeah.
I make sure that the story is coherent. So... that being said, I'm giving it a 5 because it hits all of those points. And no, I'm not saying that because you said it. Because in the previous one, Planet of the Apes, my dad grew up with that film. Yeah. He loves it. I gave it 4.5, but he gave it 4.5. So no, I'm not just matching my guest scores. But either way, this film it has shown its importance not only to us personally in our personal lives, but also in the community, how it's still alive. Animal Kingdom at Disney
is based off.
It has the Tree of Life, which is...
Isn't that the center of attention?
It's the main focal point.
Yeah.
It's the logo of the area, essentially.
Oh.
So the film is just incredible.
Oh, what was I going to say? Shit, I forgot what I was going to say. Dang it. There was one very important thing I wanted to say. But I forgot it.
I mean, we can keep talking. They've listened up to here, so...
They might have listened up to here. They might have quit when I heard my voice.
It's just us now. We're talking alone. But, no, yeah. The film is very, very well done. The cast was good, especially when you told me about who was actually in it.
Oh yeah, and then if you actually one thing that made me fall more in love with this is, again, I saw the struggle because, again, I had the bonus feature, so I saw everything that went into it.
Yeah, I wanted you to talk more about the history of it, because where I focus on more of story and directing and all that, you focus more on the back stuff.
Oh my god, yeah, because, again, I had the bonus DVD, so when I was watching it, I actually saw all the bonuses and how long it took to make, man. Again, it was all very hard to animate because, again, you had to write so many things. All of it was animated by hand, made by hand. And again, this was a struggle to make. People didn't believe in this film. They thought the story was going to be terrible.
The animators didn't believe in the film.
Yeah, the animators, there was some that were very passionate, and then there was some whatever, we don't care anymore. And then, but it's crazy to think that they thought this movie was going to fail. They thought that... What was the movie that you mentioned that they thought they were going to pass, that they thought we were going to do really well?
Oh, Pocahontas.
Yeah, Pocahontas. No, before that.
Black Cauldron.
Black Cauldron. They thought Black Cauldron was going to do better.
They thought that film was going to do much better than they expected.
Yeah, and then it actually ends up doing the opposite, where The Lion King had more but don't get Black Cauldron has a lot of love put into it.
It has love. It doesn't have a long fan base.
Yeah.
The film. Oh wow! The film came out in '85. It's 80 minutes. It was directed by Ted Berman and Richard Rich, and it has a budget of $44 million, and it has a box office of $21.3 million.
And they actually thought this film was going to do better than what Lion King.
Well, this was also their first PG film.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they re-released it, and I guess it did worse.
Really?
The score received positive reviews from music critics. Okay, I'll give it that. And today is regarded as one of the best works by Bernstein and for a Disney animated film, despite its obscurity. It's mainly talking about the soundtrack.
But yeah, most of the team, there was actually, some of the team ended up leaving with Lion King to go work on Pocahontas because they truly didn't
Some just left.
Yeah, some
completely.
just left. And it's really, it's heartbreaking to think that... And it's heartbreaking to think that there's people, this film had a chance of not being made. It was this close to being gone and never existing. And it was this close to, again, this is what made Disney one of the biggest names in the world. Because of things like Snow White, Cinderella. And imagine not having The Lion King it's kind of shocking to think that The Lion King might have never been here. It could have possibly never existed.
And to think that The Lion King has played such an important role in people's lives, that many go to this film as a sense of, I don't want to say therapy, because it's not.
Yeah.
But more in the sense of just home remedy.
Yeah.
In the now some films have Disney's Inside Out. Many psychologists are actually using that to express what depression is, which I think is incredible. This film could do the same in the sense of how to get over a lost one.
Yes, it really does.
And it doesn't do it softly either.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Yeah, I really love this film. You already know that I've talked to you so much about this film.
Yeah, so...
And, yeah, I think this is one reason Jared wanted to do it with me, because he knows how much I love this film. And how much...
I did the first podcast, I'm like, I gotta get into it. But either way, now we just have to wait about 90 days from today.
Oh my god.
From when we're recording this to that, which I assure you, as midnight, I get the feeling we're gonna get a call from you saying, get in the car, I'm outside.
There's going to be two things.
Go.
I'm either going to be really, really excited or just really disappointed. It's going to be one or the other.
Which as soon as you see on the podcast, Triple J Studios podcast, I will let you know in the first one of disappointment or achievement type of thing. But either way, this film, we gave it 5. We talked about it. You got anything else before we end this?
I mean, if you ever want to invite me again.
I mean, you're coming back for the live action.
I
right?
know, but I'm saying if you ever want to invite me to talk about any other thing, I'm down.
All right. Yes. All right. Well, thank you all for listening, Anthony. Thank you for being a wonderful guest.
Thank you for having me.
I know this was very. It was since you were planning on what to do, and I just asked you to do this. So thank you.
No problem.
And until next time, we will see you all later.
All right. See ya.
See ya.